patterns, like this is one here, using CDC. The swinging method is very good. I'm using natural CDC, as you can see, as well as white. It's in different sizes, size 20s up, size 14s, but you can also tie this using the same winging method. You can tie some duns using the exact same way. So it's up to yourself how you want to do it. Now I'm going to tie the natural, using the natural CDC for the wing. Now this is a size 16, it's an SLD, it's a light dry fly hook by Partridge. Thread I'm going to use, this is a 8/0 in light Cahill. Just you can run your wax through, just have my wax on my finger here. Just run it through, just the once is enough. And then from the eye, I'm just going to work my way down. Oops. Just controlling the turns and covering the shank all the way down with the base piece until I get to the point just before it goes round the bend, and then remove it. Tail fibres, I'm just going to use some Microfibets, and this is a pale yellow. Looking for at least 3. Get a nice balance. It's up to yourself how many you can put on, as many as you like. Once you've got the 3 that you want, just hold them, the ends. Come on your scissors points and then come down, trim it right at the bottom. Tail length, at least the hook, tiny bit more. Now I'm using the cut ends towards myself and then using this turn as I come up to lift and set it on top. And it's basically onto a bare hook, so that turns onto a bare hook, so it sits much easier. And then what I do is keep a hold of the tips and then come under with the thread turn and then lift them, making sure they sit on the top. Just keeping the thread tight all the time. Now what I'm going to do here is just separate them, especially the near and the far side, and ignoring the centre fibre you can see there. And to keep these apart, what you can do is figure it through. Now what I'm going to do is come through the far side with a turn, come to my side, catch it, bring the thread through the centre, just ignoring that centre fibre and doing a turn or two just to lock it in. At this point you make sure that it's sitting right. You can have a wee quick look. You'll see the fibres sitting nice for you, spreads the weight of the fly. And then we can trim this the full length of the body, which is 2/3 of the shank. Trim it there. Then we can form the body. Now I'm going to use the thread for the body and use it for a rib. So a wee bit of wax on my thread. Continue up. When the thread turns touching, just to a point there, and then work your way back down. Stop it short of the tail, about 2-3 turns short. Now to change the colour or give it a rib effect, I'm just going to use one of these permanent marker pens, and this one, it says it's yellow up here, it comes out a kind of an amber colour, this type of colour here. And what you do is you just basically run your thread down, or your pen down the thread. Just give it a second to dry. And then we'll rib our fly. Reasonably close at first, and as we go up, spread it slightly. And this will give a nice glow from the body. It's a nice colour. You'll see it more when it's wet. Then I've got a tan dubbing and a tiny bit of orange mixed into it. Put a tiny bit of dubbing on at the back here. Slide it up. Form like a small ball. Now some of the fibres are going forward towards the eye, just draw them back. And with a clean turn of thread or two, just hold these fibres back with the thread. Now we're ready for our CDC. So you can use the white or you can use the natural. When the light's really bad, white's the best, you'll see it much better. The grey, I just find I've caught a lot of fish on the grey and it's certainly worth using. Now you want to line up the ends. These are 2 sort of medium sized CDC feathers. You want the natural curve coming up and away from the hook. The length, looking at the length of the shank, tie it forward, Now make sure you wax your thread. 2 or 3 turns there, and then lift your CDC, and then don't tie on the CDC, but basically build up some thread turns in front to so I'll lift them straight up like that. Now what you want to do then with your waste is to bring it through and separate these. Now before you do that, get some more of your dubbing, and then encourage the dubbing, or encourage these turns are dubbing to hold or build up the thorax slightly, but don't go too close to the eye. Leave it quite clear so you can tie in your CDC. You don't want it too bulky. Now if you want it done, what you do is separate them with a feather either side. Now you can put more than 2 feathers on, depending on the pattern that you're tying. And that's separate it. Bring these through like basically a thorax cover. Now if you want like a more an up-winged type fly, you keep it really tight. I'll show you what happens. Get this tight, pinch and loop there. You'll end up with a up-winged type dry fly like this. Now if you want it more spinner like, what you do, bring these down and you spread it, just flatten it, put it right towards the eye, and then come round for another turn or so, or 2, and then basically then you're spreading the fibres like that, and that's you get your spinner, and it's just a matter of tying off. Now as I say, the dun would, or the spinner, I mean you can encourage these to sit up, but it's probably once you get to a certain size you want to add 2 feathers, you want 2 either side, and then you can always remove some of the fibres if you're needing to reduce the dressing, especially for the fussy fish. Now once you're say 3 or 4 turns there, bring a thread to the front, lock these in with another 2 or 3 turns, just ignore everything at this point, and then whip finish. Use your nail just to hold the eye, tighten up the whip finish, trim away your thread. I mean you don't have to be dead neat against this, but enough that you don't want to get in the way of the eye. Just a nice straight cut, and there we are. And that's your winging style anyway, and that's a spinner version. You can see it nice and flat. Very easy to tie. You can fill your box in no time with these. You can tie, you see, these are the, trimmed the CDC a wee bit here just to get a better shape in the wing. That's a finer one there, it's a wee bit brighter in colour. Mess about with the colour to suit yourself. You can have the olive, a bit of hare's ear. This is a good pattern for the bigger sizes as well.